So, that movie I wanted to cover today is going to take a bit longer than I thought, and not just because of the constant technical issues I keep facing in online, but thankfully I have a backup in mind. I'm going to be moving up, and against my better judgment, this is definitely going to be an interesting video to talk about. So, I don't know what I expected, but what the hey, let's talk about Pyra and Mythra and my thoughts on them being included in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I was planning to sleep on this character reveal in more than one, but the fact that it's another one that actually dropped today, a, a roughly 12 hours or so or less after the reveal of the gameplay happened, and with the latest Sakurai Presents, and which I also was not intending to cover. However, this basically effectively, along with the aforementioned connection knowledge, changed my mind. And on top of some new buffs for characters like Peach, who has actually definitely been one that's been benefiting, especially with this new tournament that's going to be this weekend. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So I know that Xenoblade Chronicles 2, who has audience, and again, it's sold well over 1 million copies worldwide, almost 2 million, and since initial launch since 2017, and yet this time around, I can't say that I really share her Sakurai's enthusiasm nor that of the fan bases. And when even he himself can't convince me, it's going to be a tricky one for me to get into. Put it into proper context. He actually was able to specifically convince me of the worth of having Minecraft Steve in there a few months back. Since and personally, if I was going to pick another character from this fictional universe, I would have gone with Cosmos from Xenosaga. I personally don't buy into the argument that Persona overshadows from T when both parts of a universe. It's just that it's more the different aspects of it, but it is accurate to suggest that maybe Xenoblade has overshadowed Xenosaga and Xenogears, which are personally ones I found much more interesting in hindsight. And even the whole dual character mechanic doesn't seem as novel as it is someone who grew up in the Melee era with Sheik and Zelda. But then again, I actually liked how they portrayed in those games, and I have no attachment to Pyra and Mythra nor to this verse as a whole. In fact, I can definitely submit that even though I'm still gonna hold on my copy with 2 slots left. These are actually my easily in my least used characters since Shulk. I didn't say least favorite, I said least used. Though there's some overlap. Like most fighting games, I like to have characters I use for mains and characters I like to use for backups. When I want to shake things up a bit. Pretty standard, really. Whether you're playing something like this or something that's more quote unquote serious like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or Tekken, and that kind of thing. And I could have gone either way about Crash personally. Since Crash as well as Spyro sat out the infamous PlayStation Battle Royale, I don't really have like a dog, or in this case, a Bandicoot in this race. So there's that. And also note that the clearing the spirit board with this character, her duo, was actually, oddly enough, the easiest time I had doing so. Even factoring in the last spirit, which I was able to exploit their behaviors, and also I just finished up an online match with a character and apparently, even though she shares a bit of Ganondorf as well as a hero from Dragon Quest, which, and especially with Sephiroth, of where even with on lower her HP, damage, you have like a 30% chance of instant smash, which I'm going to exploit more than once. I also did it with classic mode twice. The second being with like the tickets, admin, and yet it felt less like entering a Wondrous Factory and more like getting sucked through a tube in a chocolate river in however many ways. At least the whole idea of having Sephiroth doing the boss rush, was an interesting way of using the other characters, and even the whole way of taking on both Master Hand and Crazy Hand at the same time, I'm isn't really that out of the way, hard or magic, given how it's all usually happens automatically when I do the classic mode and high difficulty settings anyway. Since I also want to make clear that despite the claims otherwise, I still have no real interest in Xenoblade Chronicles at all. So anything I have to say in regards to this fighter, as per usual, will be mostly self-contained. Which also is part of the challenge talking about this character and so in my position when the other ones in this past, even other fighters being included, who did in previous Smash games for that matter, have some connection with them. I have some history with them. I have even some level of appreciation for them, and yet it's strange that a pair of characters which are living weapons and feel so ununique in this game by this point. Personally, there's still 2 more slots, so I'm trying to keep my thoughts relatively on point here. So yeah, I also submit that Rex's inclusion and or exclusion would not have personally affected me either way, as again, someone who is openly admitting they're not a Xenoblade fan and openly admits that they don't care about Xenoblade. And I don't think that. Don't get me wrong. I think Monolith Soft is a good developer. They've helped craft a lot of material of role-playing games in my lifetime alone. Heck, I submit their involvement in Breath of the Wild actually, and applying the open world concept to both versions of that game, was a benefit to them. But, and here's the thing. It just feels so familiar at this point. To me, the fact that it took 9 characters in this past and over 80 characters into this game before I finally found one that I felt mixed on and it's definitely going to be. But either way, I didn't have a choice because I already bought the pass regardless. I was basically in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say. In this case, he's in for 25 bones into a game that's already about 60 on the dot, at least. But basically, Pyra's the power side, and Mythra is more of a speed side. But unlike Sakurai, I have no qualms about using a Pokeball to finish the match. As I actually did multiple times my first playthrough of Classic mode with this character. It didn't actually have Squirtle in it, just a dramatization, but. And I'm not saying that it would have been impossible to make a character from a franchise normally don't have the biggest investment and interest in. In fact, as someone who's not as big a Devil May Cry fan as some other people are, I appreciate the character more as Capcom, but I was one of the people who would have preferred Travis Touchdown, but again, someone I'm just glad we got a me costume that No More Heroes 3 is coming out sooner than we expected, but and it's just I mean, I've seen other people who are way more into the competitive circuit than I am talk about the preferred characters and what kind of people they like to do who use. I tend to lean more towards speed and trickery than and sheer raw strength and power. But somehow, oh, this character doesn't really satisfy either style for me. Since I hope that maybe some of the balance issues can maybe be addressed and some further, more minor updates. It's for this case, but right, but purely as and also I don't even really care they changed it out of Morales to me. In fact, I was more amused by people asking instead, why does Princess Charm not have her own game? Why is she just another Battle Royale clone? You know what I mean? So I really wish that and I've had my experience with Pyra and Mythra uh, could have been much more engaging. I really wish I could have gotten more excited or even been proven wrong about my doubts almost beforehand. Instead, this is exactly more or less what I expected. A character I simultaneously do not hate, but also can't go so far to say that I love either. It's basically middle of the road, and even if Rex isn't playable, he still gets an assist in the final smash, so it's not like he's totally not out there. Whatever happens in the last two characters, hopefully I'll have more to talk about than this. Just under a month since the last direct, and it's gotten the same kind of indifferent reaction, and resulted in that Eggman meme I used the first time around. So I showed again. I was not expecting that, but I was expecting not to expect something so it doesn't count. And anyway, that's all I gotta say for now. I'll definitely keep working on that other movie review and hopefully the connection will improve before or it's ready to upload. I'm also going to be finishing the third one Pokemon Journey so I can have the slate clean for Volume 4. We'll get more some movie vlogs and I will definitely. I was like. And also, the last episode of One Division will be tomorrow. Definitely have that out to you after it streams spoiler free, and I will definitely talk to you all later.